It's Lady Donli. Hey, this is Lady Donli. Step into the weekend with the Cruise Zone on 95.3 FM Radio Now.
Hello and welcome to the Cruise Zone. My name is Djaji Prime.
I'm Dan Akins.
Yes, as you can see, or as you can hear, we're very, very excited in this episode. Every person we have on this show is a remarkable creative.
Right.
From, any kind of field, music, entertainment, fashion, film,
photography,
exceptional creatives. But every once in a while we have superstars in our midst. And we're always grateful when they grace us with their presence. But this superstar is one that, I won't say I was a day one fan, but I was, kind of early on the wave.
Rub it off.
I love it now, but early on in the wave of someone who I think is a unique, talented, and resilient artist. Right. Of course, this evening we're talking to the Rockstar Lady Donli. Good evening, Lady Donli.
Woo, Cash
Good evening, guys. How y'all feeling?
Good, we're good. How are you?
I'm good, I'm happy to be here.
You look happy. She looks happy.
I'm tired, but I'm happy to be here.
All right.
We're sorry we had to take you out of your rest.
Oh, no.
But the duty calls, as they say. So how are you feeling today? What's your energy like?
Today I'm like trying to radiate positive energy, to be honest, because I feel like last week I was resonating a lot of bad vibes.
How come?
Why?
Not deliberate bad vibes, but I think I was kind of off because I dropped music and I was like experiencing high levels of anxiety, which happens sometimes, especially like because I hadn't dropped in a while. I was just like.
I mean,
really tense.
We will get into all of that,
yeah.
right? That
I was really
space,
tense,
right?
So, but this week I'm just trying to be happier and just like give out what I want the universe to give back to me.
And is there anything particularly right now on your mind?
No, honestly, I'm just like planning a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm just trying to navigate those plans.
Okay.
Right.
Let's jump into it.
So, like you said, releasing music, it's obviously a bit of a burden, right? Is it a thing where you don't want to look at the reaction, or your because you sound, or from interviews I've seen, you sound quite critical. You say you always look at what you've done to see what you can do better. So where does that anxiety come from?
I think the anxiety comes from expectations.
Right.
Expectations I put on myself and expectations that the general public, my fans, put on me. I hadn't dropped in a while, so like I'm looking at stats and being like, oh, I need to be getting this number of plays, or like this amount of people need to be talking about the song, and then I start to feel like I'm a disappointment to myself. And you have fans who are like, you always have a different set of fans who are like, oh yeah, we don't like this song, give us cash. And then we have like people that are like, oh my god, I like this song, it's calming. So it's just like trying to find that balance. So people saying they need the old Donli back, all these things. It's just like, it's a lot.
So you posted something somewhere, where we would not sit where, but you posted something somewhere and I came across it. You said, paraphrasing, but you kind of missed the old days where it seemed like the milestones you were achieving, they felt, all the smaller milestones felt like grand. But right now it's like, how do you even keep it moving? So the old Donli, the new Donli, what is there a difference in your head, or is that just something people see?
I think the difference is just like a natural evolution where like I have different phases, and those phases reflect the kind of music that I make. When I made Enjoy Your Life, I was in a different phase. Wild, I was in a different phase when I made it. My album is called Something Else, and I was in a different phase when I made that. So it's just like I'm going to evolve, and people are not going to like it because they want me to stay in that space, because that's the space they found me in, that's the space they fell in love with me. And there's some fans who love me in any space because they love Lady Donli and they just like the energy that I bring to the music. But it's like I'm constantly just like moving from one energy to the other. And yeah, I miss the days when I would drop music and I would have 1,000 plays and I would be so excited. The more plays you get, like when you start getting millions of plays, it's harder for you to like feel that way.
When you start
It's
getting
just said it
millions
like,
of
you know.
plays.
No, it's like I remember my first 1,000 plays on SoundCloud, like my
What
song
song?
Mr. Creeper. Like
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember how I felt, how excited I was when SoundCloud emailed me to tell me I had 1,000 plays. I'd never experienced that before, you know. And then it's the same thing. Like when I got 10,000 on Ice Cream, I was like, wow. I got 100,000. I was like, wow, this is crazy. You know, I
Right.
got my first million. I was like, whoa. And it's harder to feel that way. But like now I'm just doing this thing where like searching when it gets like 500 new plays, I'm like, yeah, let's go. When it's on 1,000, when it was on 1,000, I was like, okay, yeah, let's go.
Right.
I'm just trying to like just find little joys because it's one of the things that makes this whole process easier.
Right.
Yeah, and okay, it's interesting because like I know I've also heard you say things like your music is not for everybody, right? And it seems like you're quite conscious of that, but at the same time, where does that anxiety come from? So how do you balance, I know my music is not for everybody, and also worrying about what people think of the kind of music you're putting out?
The thing is, right, I don't think anybody's music is for everybody. Like even pop songs, like the songs that do best on radio, like there's some people that will be like, you'll turn that off, like I hate it, I like classical jazz, you know. We're also different, and I appreciate that my music can be for everyone because like factually that's just impossible. But the fans that I do have, I'm very conscious about them and like just keeping them happy as much as I can, you know, because as an indie artist, your fan base and your relationship with your fans is super important. So when my music drops and I see like someone that is a long-term fan, because I have fans and I have super fans, and I know who my super fans are because I try to interact with them more. Like the people that are on my shows, the people that buy my merch, the people like some of them I follow them, like we talk, we just. So it's like if one of those people doesn't like the new stuff that I've put out, then like, you know, that's like, okay, cool. Like I'm alienating people that actually love me, you know. And I have to think and ask myself why that is. But the thing about evolution is like fans will come, fans will go, new ones will come, new ones will go, and it just keeps on growing like that. So I'm just chilling.
So you sort of you mentioned, you know, being an indie artist, right? And we sort of know, at least in Nigeria, we know what that sort of means, you know, the Alte scene and all of that, right? So personally for you, right, do you consider yourself countercultural, right?
In what sense?
There's this light rebellious energy you have. You even just mentioned it now that if they don't like it, it's their business.
That's
even with the music you've brought, it's like it's you. You're not trying to. You've even said like you're trying to bring something that doesn't exist. So is there an element of rebellion, raging against the system?
like intentional.
Yeah.
The thing is, I'm naturally stubborn, so I don't even know if it's like intentional. I think it's just like my personality traits, because a lot of people started making music like, you know, they discovered they were good at music, or maybe they heard a song and they were like, let me try this. But I never went through that phase of thinking, oh, I want to try this. Like music has been like riding a bike. It's been like second nature to me from as long as I can remember.
Right.
I was either writing poetry or like doing school plays. It was just like, this is who I am. So
Were there any people that inspired that or facilitated? Yeah.
In the beginning, I don't think so, to be honest. Like, I think it was just, that's why I said it's just so, I can't even point to a beginning. And my brother, one of my brothers, he was a rapper as well at some point, and he had like this little label in Kaduna called KD World Records. And that further inspired me and like pushed my curiosity. But even before then, like I was always so interested in music and CDs, and I would sing and I would rap. I was like a baby rapper. So it's like, it's my nature. So if I'm being stubborn, I think it's just like as a part of like me just being stubborn in general. Like I'm just like, I'm gonna do what makes me happy musically, because I started making music because it's second nature and it's something that makes me happy. So it's like, I'm not gonna compromise. Like the world is already hard enough.
Right.
Like I don't need to overcomplicate or over compromise what I have going on.
Right. So how, because you just mentioned there wasn't that much support on Kona Kona, you said your dad was like, baby lady, please don't do this.
That's suffer,
sorry. I think there's another record where your mom, where you say your mom was disappointed or something like that. How did you nurture that passion for music? I know it might be a bit, traumatic going back to those days, but like, how was it nurturing that passion you had?
No, the thing is, my parents have actually always been supportive.
Well, maybe not, but generally.
Yeah, no, like I'm gonna start with them. It's like they've always been supportive because it's like been a second nature thing where it's like I've always sang. Like when I was in college, like one of my teachers told my dad, was like, your daughter is very special, this music that she's doing, she can really go far. So like there's just always been that energy around it, but at the same time it's like I'm the last child in my family, and there's always just that that shelter they'll put on you, like when you're trying to do something difficult that they know is going to be hard. So it's like my parents, their fears weren't on, okay, you're doing music. Their fears were like, you're going into this jungle.
Right.
Lagos is this big jungle. I grew up in Abuja. You're going into this jungle where we can't look out for you, where we can protect you, and you're going to do something that's so uncertain. Like, are you sure? We know that you love this, but are you sure? You can go into something related to it, can be part-time, but like this is going to be really hard, so I think that was where that energy was coming from. It was their fear they were projecting on me, and it's a scary experience, but like I have never felt like I wasn't going to do what I'm doing now, which is like creating music or putting out music, because for me it's always just been like, this is going to happen one day or the other. I don't care if there's outside pressure, like I don't listen.
You're determined from jump.
Literally, like when I first went to uni on my way, in the border, because I went to school in the UK, on the border, the immigration officer, she asked me, she said, when you do law, what are you going to specialize in? I told her, I said, I'm not going to specialize, I want to be a musician. It's like at every point
you sort of knew.
Yeah, that was it for me. It's like I want to be a musician. I am a musician. That's it. So it doesn't even matter. Like 50 people can be telling me that I'm not good, and I can feel bad about it for one day, but the next day I'm going to hear a song, or a song's going to come to my head, and I'm going to be like, yeah, this is me. Finish. So
earlier you were talking about the different phases or eras. Let's say the Donli eras we've had so far. So earlier on, there was this electro vibe. There was this kind of house leaning you had, from songs on Wallflower to the singles you were dropping back in 2017, Kasheni, Poison.
Yeah.
Then we moved into a more, even more melancholic R&B, Letters to Her.
Yeah.
And then the I don't know what you call Enjoy Your Life. What do you call that?
Afrocentric sort of.
Yeah, it's fun.
So how did you go from electro to Afro fun? The evolution.
When I was making Poison and like Ice Cream and all those songs, they were not like, I wasn't thinking, I want to make electronic music. It just kind of happened. Like when I made Ice Cream started out with vocals, which is how I make most of my music, and I just had the melodies in my head and like the sampled vocals, and I took it to a producer that I really enjoyed working with at the time, Nusa, and we just made Ice Cream. And then Poison, I worked in reverse. Chill sent me the beats, like, because he had heard Ice Cream and he thought, I could do something sick on this. And I did that. And then I did Letters to Her, which is like really like sad R&B love songs, and that's just where I was at mentally. I was sad.
Right.
I was sad, and I just needed I needed an outlet to express that. I wasn't trying to drop Letters to Her.
You've told me that was, you even said that's Gavi's project.
Yeah, that's literally my friend's project. He was working on like a uni project, an artist, and I was like, yeah, I'll do that. Because I'm sad right now and I just need an outlet. So I dropped Letters to Her, and like I had like a cult following of listeners, and the people who liked Ice Cream and Poison hated it because they were expecting more Ice Cream and Poison, and I was just like, I can't give you that, I'm really sad. And I did that, and that was that. And then after that, that's kind of entering my Enjoy Your Life era. And Enjoy Your Life was just like a way to escape the pain. Is the best way to describe it. It was a wall I created, or like an energy that I created to run away from like all the things that I had been feeling at that point. And I was also very much in my Pan-African element of self-discovery when I first started working on it. I started doing more research into like what it meant to be an African I was reading a lot of history, so I was just like super intrigued. I was listening to a lot of like old school music, doing a lot of like nostalgia hunting, so to speak, and it just influenced my soundscape at the time. So it was just like everything is just like where I'm at.
So during your Pan-African research, what information, because it seems like it was a turning point, if I might say that, but what information did you receive that, spoke to your soul, so to speak?
I think I just felt more pride in being African, like more so than anything. I just felt more pride in just like identifying as a Nigerian, identifying as an African, and that pride made me want to make music that made people feel that pride as well. Like made young Nigerians be like, okay, this is cool, or make old Nigerians. There's some sets of Nigerians that be like, I don't listen to Nigerian music. There's some of them that will listen to Enjoy Your Life and be like, yo, this is fresh. Like, what inspired it? And I would say, I was listening to a lot of Ajali Kijo. I was listening to a lot of Umu Sangari.
Right.
Sangari,
Ali Farka.
I'll be like, I was listening to a lot of Fela or Ali Farka, Ture, etc. And they'll be like, okay, let me go check out these guys. This is some rad music coming out of Africa. And that's where my head was at, when I made Enjoy Your Life. I just wanted to make music that reminded me of a time when things were easier.
In and around this time, you sort of, I don't know if that's the particular time that you guys met, but it's sort of working together, talking about the Cavemen. I know that it was around that time that
for then.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know when particularly happened, but like in terms of like visually seeing, in the video for Cash, I think they were in that video, right? First off, I know you must be proud of them, but how did that musical relationship, how did it start?
That's a long story for off air.
Okay.
Cavemen and I, we sort of found each other, I would say. And I heard them play, and I just thought, these guys are going to be stars. And I told that to them, And at that point when I met them, they were just like really like shy and just like, trying to come out of their shell, and just like there are lots of obstacles. And I just said, I was like, yo, you guys, like, let's ride together. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, but like I know that you guys are gonna be great, and I think we should be parts of each other's lives. And we started working, and they were sort of at the same phase I was in my life in terms of like, they are very old souls as well, so they would send me music, I would send them music. Like, I was listening to like so much African music that they hadn't listened to as well, and they were listening to stuff I hadn't listened to, so we just kind of like met each other at the right time. And obviously working with them helped influence the sound palette of like Enjoy Your Life for sure. But I think it was just like, it's just one of those destiny type moments. Because they worked a lot with me with Enjoy Your Life. I worked a lot with them on their debut album Roots, and it was just like we found each other at the right time.
Right. So what was the vision for Enjoy Your Life? When was it that you guys stumbled on the project, or was there already a plan you had mapped out?
There was no plan. I was working on an album called Something Else, and I started working with them. The first song that we made together was Cash. Actually, the first song we recorded together, let's just say, was Cash. And
was it an instant feeling of we've got one?
No, I never have that feeling with any of my songs. I just make music, and I might send it to people. It's when I send it to people and they're like, this is the one, this is the one, then I'm like, okay, cool, I guess. But I never like make a song and be like, oh my god, this song is gonna do so well. No, I'm just like, I don't know.
But you appreciate it on your own metric.
I enjoyed it to an extent, but I was just like, another song.
An interesting person.
Let's see how it goes. And then we made Cash, and I just felt like that was the first song of the album. That was gonna be the first song, and I had been writing other songs. As I said, I write before we make beats. And it just, I don't even know. I can't even tell you how EYL came to be, but it just came to be. It was just the music of the moment.
There's a conscious Hausa not influence. There's a conscious Hausa presence on Enjoy Your Life.
Yeah.
Obviously opening with Zaman Lafia and spread throughout the project.
Yeah.
Was it important for you to embrace that aspect of your culture, or was it more a statement?
I think it's a bit of both. Like that opening Zaman Lafia, I could hear it in my head for so long, and I always knew that when I would make my album, that would be the intro, So I literally fought to get that recorded. Like it was long getting it recorded. I had to get some people from the Equa Church because I wanted that authentic sound, from the north, and I think it was just also just important to put my culture on there, because I had so many reactions to the song where like some people are like, oh my god, this reminds me of growing up, and some people are like, oh my god, what is that local sound, blah blah, and like Nigerians, we can mean that word local in a demeaning way, but I was like, yeah, that's local, that's my local sound, like there's nothing demeaning about that, that's where we come from, that's the roots. So I think it was important for me to start my album like that as well, like Zaman Lafia, We Want Peace, and like even just relating that to everything that's going on in the north, like northern people want peace, and then creating this happy album that just kind of like resonates that energy of fun, laughter, and peace, and just like the possibility of there being peace. So I just needed, and I felt it was so important for me to just let people know that, this is where I'm from. But at the same time, on Iwa, there are like songs with Igbo in it. It's like, there's no Yoruba on there yet, but like, it's just like, this is Nigeria. This is where I grew up. And that's the energy I'm trying to show everyone else.
Because even when asked, you say you're from Abuja. You don't even say, I grew up in Abuja. You're from Abuja.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe there's a bit of a misconception about people from, especially when it comes to looks and carriage and all of these things?
Yeah, the thing is, I don't even know if it's a misconception, because I feel like I grew up in Abuja and that has influenced my character a lot. Like, I'm super chill, just like the city. Like, every time people meet me, they're like, oh my god, are you this chill? And it's like, yeah, like, that's literally, the city has influenced that. The city has influenced so many aspects of my life, because I come to Lagos and people are loud.
Hustle and bustle is like everyone is rushing somewhere.
But like in Abuja, I'm just super chill. People in Lagos can also be like super eccentric, like the community, like the creative community can be like really eccentric, colorful, vibrant. Abuja is just like,
and the Abuja kids eccentric. Lagos would even say more so.
I don't think so.
Please.
Yeah, no, we're more eccentric than you guys.
Abuja,
there comes the personal interest.
Abuja is close to the north, right?
Yeah.
Abuja is in the north,
Yeah.
so like the fact that it's in the north also like plays a large influence on how mellow it is, because of like just the conservatism that the north sort of has.
Right.
And me like actually being like my dad actually being from Kaduna, there's also that on me where it's like I've come to Lagos now, and like there's so many of my attitudes that I'm trying to break free of. Like even when I want to wear certain things, I'm just like showing
subconsciously.
Do you understand? I'm just like I don't know. But yeah.
Right. One song though that stands out to me, my favorite song on Enjoy Your Life. You've already kind of described your music as being melancholic. So one of, like I said, my favorite song, Answers.
That's your favorite song?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm a depressive person, so.
Oh please. Mine is Connor, by the way. So.
Thank you.
Answers, right?
Yeah.
What was going on there? Because you said Enjoy Your Life was meant to be happy.
Yeah.
But Answers, you're stuck in that mental loop of.
I think Answers is just like the balance to the project, where it's like, when I think about Enjoy Your Life, I think about it being a personal project, but with a wall, right? So it's like I've let people in, but not too much. I've told them some parts of my story in Suffer. I've told them some parts of my story in Corner. There's kindness. Like there's so many songs where like I'm inserting my story in bits and pieces, but there's a wall because I wanted to be vulnerable, but not too vulnerable. So when I entered Answers, I was like, you know what? I have spent this entire album shielding people out. So let me try and shield them in a little bit before pushing them back out.
Right.
And that was just what Answers was like the last song, like one of the last songs. In fact, I think it was the last song I put in the project. It wasn't even meant to be there.
Right.
But once
God
I
you
started
put
making
it,
it,
yeah.
I was just like, yeah, okay, maybe I should just put it in the project. Like, yeah.
Looking back at it 2 years later, what's your assessment of the project? How do you feel?
Enjoy Your Life was a turning point in my life, man. It's my baby. And I feel like it didn't mature to the level that I should have because of COVID. You know, there was so many plans we had for the project that weren't able to do. But it's okay. I always be proud of it. It's my actual first body of work.
Right.
So I'm happy with what it did for me, and I'm ready for like what's next.
Speaking of first, you did something that was quite innovative. And even talking about COVID, I don't know how possible it would be to do, but you had the living room tour. Why you smile? But yeah, you had the living room tour, which I thought was innovative because it brings the experience. It's a very personal experience. So what did you learn from, that kind of setup or environment, and how does it, contrast with live performances or onstage performances and touring?
I don't even think there's much of a contrast, It's just like, it's personal in the way that touring is personal, where it's like me, the fans. I guess it's just a bit more personal because there's less people. You get to talk to them,
Right.
and just like share that experience. But I just felt at that point in my career that artists at my stage in America, like England or wherever, would have been touring small bars or small or opening for people. But in Nigeria we don't have that. It's like Echo Hotel or Go Home or like Miraconala, like all these big gigs, which I wasn't getting obviously because I wasn't at the level to get them. So I said, you know what, I have people that listen to me, let's see if they want to give me a stage. And I would just show up. So that's what happened, and I should do another one soon.
You should. But do you think that Nigerian men in the industry are intimidated by women?
That was a jump.
There was no
preempt. That was a jump.
Okay, let me segue it after asking the question. Like I said, you did a lot of first, and you did like a lot of it alone.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that brought different things into your purview, different battles you had to fight.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking, like, do you think that?
They probably are, to be honest. But I had this conversation earlier, and it's like, as a woman in the entertainment industry, you definitely have to work 2 times harder.
Right.
As an alternative artist, you probably have to work 4 times harder
10
because
times.
no one is listening to you, and then you're a woman. So it's like, yeah, there's definitely some form of intimidation, I would say. But what helps me is just the fact that, as I always say, like, music is second nature. Like, it's like walking or talking or like breathing. Like, it's a part of my DNA. So there's no amount of like stress that anyone can put on me that will make me stop making it. I'll keep on making music. I might not put it out, but I will keep on making music.
So how do you think ladies can sort of protect themselves, especially in the industry? And
I think, and I always say to people that I work with, is just like learning how to do as much as possible by yourself. Like recording your own stuff, like producing your own music, mixing and mastering, because you don't want to give anyone too much power over your career. You want to be able to navigate it in your own way. You don't want to be waiting for a producer who potentially maybe wants to harass you or like just has that power. Because I feel like in Nigeria especially, man, everybody's power hungry. Literally down to the security man that locks the gates on your streets. Like everyone is so power hungry. So it's like, take as much of that power away and put it in yourself, and you're gonna do good.
Right. Going back in time though, the first era, a lot of people, tagged you Alte and all of that. How did you feel at that time about being alternative or Alte? And do you think Alte is dead?
Dead? Alte can never die.
Okay, I'm happy you said that because a couple people feel that way.
Yeah, they're open to feeling however they want to, but I don't think it can ever die. that was like a stepping stone or a platform for so many people to get ahead, for so many people to experience, what it felt like to be a quote unquote superstar in their scene, like they felt fame, they felt important for the first time in a very long time. And so I don't think I ever die. Even the artists that go on, and become like mainstream artists, that's where they started from, like that scene, so to speak, because I don't think it's a music genre. I think it's more like a scene, more like subculture, That's what it is. So it's like so many things stemmed from that scene, like being a reality. And if I go on and I am like the biggest artist in Africa and the world or whatever, it's like that's where I'm coming from. That's the scene that first accepted me and made me feel like I was something, for the first time. So yeah.
Although I do not agree that some people think it's dead. I think it's just a case of what Alte means now has changed. Like sort of we're used to, okay, it was a certain type of sound, and now it's like multiple sounds, but it's all under, like you said, maybe say scene.
I don't even think that it was ever a specific type of sound, because when you think about all the people that you would call Alte, let's say then you would say, okay, Santi was making Alte music, or Dunzi was making Alte music, Budge was making Alte music, Lady Donli, Wavy, blah, blah, blah. It's like all of us are making different stuff. Like, and the only thing in common is that it's alternative to Nigerian pop music. That's what. So if you want to call it alternative, you want to use that phrase, you see it's alternative. But like when I think about Alte, I just think about the community. Like I think about the creatives, like the talented photographers. I think about TSC and like the fantastic work he started doing, like the pioneering he did with like photography. I think about Demola and how he started making videos and the pioneering he did. I think about DRB and the pioneering they did, when they first started doing their concerts every Christmas. I think about LOS. There's just been so many people that have influenced things in different ways. Like, they've reset the culture, because it showed us that you don't have to be a big artist for people, outside this vicinity to recognize you. You had all these young artists getting on Vogue, getting on Billboard, even before like we had artists on top. We had all these young artists directing campaigns, or like just going above and beyond. So for me, that's what Alte is. Alte is just that community of like independent, free creatives.
Right.
And you've worked with quite a lot of notable names, right? I think MI, Davido, I think Mr. Easy as well. So what's your mindset going into these features, and what do you enjoy most about this sort of collaborations?
I love music, and a lot of these people you've mentioned I respect, like and I'm not gonna say that because I make alternative music I don't listen to like Nigerian pop music, Afrobeats. I love pop music, man. Like I love the street music, like I love Nigerian music. People hear me jamming some songs, they're like, I didn't know you would listen to this kind of song. I'm like, bro, this is my jam. So like a lot of these artists I have like great respect for. So it's just like it's a fangirl moment that gets into work with them. Of course, MI, like big deal in the North, big deal in Nigeria. Davido as well, like come on, like one of the biggest superstars we have in Africa. Mr. Easy, same. So it was just like still just being myself and bringing what I can bring to the table, while just like also acknowledging all that they have done for like their own scene in music.
Right. So coming to the present, Rockstar, Parole, seems like there's a duality there. You say the Cash Mummy versus Space W.
Yeah.
What's the dual personality there that we're seeing come forward, and talk to us about that single.
Honestly, like Rockstar, when I dropped that single, I wasn't really in the best space to even be dropping music. I just kind of dropped music, so it just went by like a fly. And the day I even dropped it, I think the day I dropped it, I was like burying my grandmom or something. Like it was just a very weird period in my life, and yeah, like a song that it flew by. Like I don't even count it as a release. You know, that's where I'm at with the music. But duality is like when I created Cash Mom was just kind of this persona that I created with EYL, as part of the rollout, and it's stuck. A lot of things I do stick. It's stuck. And when I created Space W, when I started to feel more like Space W, it was just like I was feeling young again. In the terms of, a lot of people think I'm older for some reason, like I'm 24 now, but like I remember every birthday, like when I turned 21, people were like, oh my God, stop lying, you're 26 or 27. And it's just always been like that. Like everyone has just automatically, I don't know why it is, felt like I was older. So I feel like in my early 20s, I didn't have time to like have fun the way that I ought to have, because like there was just so much pressure on me just feeling like I'm much older. So when I got into this persona, it was just like, I'm just having more fun now. I'm feeling myself more. I'm gaining like more confidence, and I'm just like, I'm just enjoying the galaxy. Like that's just what it felt like to me. It's just like I'm young, I'm free, I can be free.
Right. Left to me, we'd have this conversation for hours, but we have to actually wrap up. So I get a lot of mental health themes from you. So if you could quickly tell us what your mental health tips are, and then, of course, talking about the new project, Wild. So talk to us about that project and what you have in store for us.
Wild is just this wild project. Like 2020 was wild, and I think it's just like a personal, impersonal project where like there's some songs that are sort of personal, and then it's just like I'm just having fun. It's not my album. It's not the album. Everyone is like, when is your second album dropping? It's not the album yet. I'm still working on that. But like, Wild is just a fun project. It's like, okay, this is where I've been. This is what I've been up to. And let's have fun. That's it. That's how I would describe it. It's like, okay, I've been down. Yeah. Let's have fun. And that's what Wild is for me.
Definitely.
And before we sort of jump into what Searching For was for you, you did a lot of where's Lady Donli right before the release, but I'm really interested in knowing, so where was Lady Donli?
Oh man, Lady Donli, I was in the trenches finding myself. That's all I'm gonna say. That's where I was. Like, I was in literally just like trying to find myself and just like be in a better space, so that when people start consuming the music, I could be there for my fans in the way I need to be, and be there for myself, most importantly.
Right.
Well, Lady Donli, I mean this sincerely. It truly has been an honor speaking with you. Incredibly talented, and we just can't wait to see what new heights you break. Of course, this conversation is not done. You need to we need to have you back. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And
thank you for
to
having
everybody
us.
listening right now, know that Searching for a Wild album is out now, so you can definitely go jam that. So, but of course, trust that we will play. We've been playing.
In
I think we played
fact,
it
you're
last
going to
week.
jam it right now.
Yeah.
Let's
So
get it.
stick around. It's still the Crew Zone.